I'd like to take a few moments and show you all of the tools that are available in the Texthelp PDF Reader. This extension has a wonderful suite that is available to you and your students to be able to edit, annotate, and mark up PDFs. The first thing that you'll want to do is install the extension onto your Chrome browser. You can access the Chrome Web Store by clicking on Apps and then going to the Web Store. You also can access the Chrome Web Store by simply typing in chrome.google.com/web store into your search bar. Once you're in the Chrome store, you can just type in read and write, or you could type in Texthelp. You'll see that there are a couple different extensions that you can add that are a part of the Texthelp suite. To add these extensions to your browser, you'll just simply click Add to Chrome. You'll know that they have been successfully installed when you see this green banner that says Added. In order to manage your extensions and change what you see in your extension toolbar, you can simply click on this puzzle piece and you can choose to remove something from the toolbar, but not the extension, from your browser by clicking the Unpin. So the Unpin just simply removes it from this top bar. In order to pin something so that you can see it, you're going to just click on that pin button and you'll see it's been added up here now to my extension toolbar. Now that you've installed the Texthelp PDF Reader, you'll want to adjust the settings so that it will integrate with your Google Classroom. To do that, you'll want to move your cursor over the icon that says PDF, and you'll want to press the Control button on your keypad and then click. This will open up a menu that will take you to the Options menu. You'll see that you have a few different options for the Texthelp PDF Reader. You'll want to make sure that you click where it says Enable Classroom Integration. Your students will have to do this as well. When you click this option, you will be able to work directly in Google Classroom with the Texthelp PDF Reader. You have a choice of opening the web PDFs with Texthelp Reader. If you do not have this clicked or checked, then whatever default PDF reader you use will be the one that opens up those web PDFs. Now that I've installed the Texthelp PDF Reader extension and changed the settings to my preferences, I went ahead and found a great PDF article from Newsela or Newsela that I'd like to share with my students. I would like to open this up with the Texthelp PDF Reader so that I can make some edits to the document and add some content for my students. If you do not see a purple and gray button that says Texthelp PDF Reader over here on the side, then you can just go to your Open With, and since you've installed the Read and Write extension, go ahead and just click that. You'll see that the PDF now opens up in the Texthelp PDF Reader. When it's opened in the Reader, you'll have this wonderful toolbar that comes up. So these are your editing tools at the top. And at the bottom, you do have the ability to show thumbnails of the article. You can rotate the view, of course, print and download. This button up here shows me that I have set up my Texthelp PDF Reader to integrate with my Google Classroom. So I'm going to walk us through some of the annotation tools and editing tools. Now, the Read and Write Texthelp suite of tools is basically the same. There are a few differences, but there are lots that you can do with the Texthelp tools that they offer throughout their products. On the Reader, you'll see that you do have the ability to still look up words with a written dictionary. So if I click on that word and I click dictionary, I can look up a word and read the definition. But I also have the ability to then get a picture dictionary. I have the ability to hear the content read to me. I can pause and stop it. I do have a screenshot reader. I have a translator, highlighting tools, a vocabulary list creator, a screen mask, what they call the typewriter, but allows me to add text to the PDF, a push pin, which could be used for notes or perhaps a marker of where you've left off, a freehand drawing tool, and a shapes drawing. So when I want to start marking up this article, some of the main things that I will be using will be these annotation tools. So I will simply click on a word and I can choose the highlighting tool and highlight in that color. As I work through the document and I click on the different words, I just go ahead and press that highlight button because I'm still on the highlighting tool. What I can do with these words that I've highlighted is create a vocabulary list. By pressing on the vocabulary button, Texthelp PDF Reader is synced with your Google account, and so it will pull up a Google Doc that takes all of the words that you highlighted, and it will create a vocabulary list that has the word, the dictionary meaning, a symbol, and a section for notes. You'll see that the read and write tools are available on this Google Doc. And so this is the read and write extension tools that are available to me when I'm working in a Google document. Because this is fully editable, then I can change this around to my liking. I can change the font and the color. But you will see that it says vocabulary list untitled. So you will need to change the title of that vocabulary list. Back on my document, I also can take entire sections of text and highlight them in a different color. If there are certain things that I would like to pull from this text, and I've highlighted them all, I can use this feature called Collect Highlights. I can choose what colors I would like to collect, and so I have all of these large paragraphs in the kind of pink color. I'm going to click OK. And you'll see that now what opens up for me is another Google Doc, and it says PDF Highlights. It has pulled all of the highlights, and they're still in that same color, and there's a link to the document where they came from. I would want to retitle this, and then I can also change the font, and I can manipulate this text the same way I would with any Google Doc. The other thing that I can do is after I have highlighted sections of text or words is I can click on this magenta icon. A list of tools come up when I do that. And so I can maneuver my screen, and you'll see that in this gray area I get a text box that opens up, and on the side there are some options. I have prediction, I have talk and type, so anything that I say will appear as text in this text box area. I also can do a voice note, I can play any text that's here, insert a picture, or insert a link. If I would like to use the talk and type, I would simply click on this, and anything that I say will appear in this box. So you'll go ahead and turn that off when you're done speaking. If I wanted to leave a voice note, I would click on this, and you'll have to press the record button when you would like to start and stop. You only have 1 minute to record, but that's plenty of time. So I would say, do you have any wearable devices that are powered by batteries? What are those devices? Please leave your comments in the class comment section on Google Classroom. So you can see that I've recorded that note and I can listen back to it. Do you have any wearable devices that are powered by batteries? What are those devices? Please leave your comments in the... If I like that comment and I want to keep it, I'm just going to click comment. The other thing that you can do is you can add text boxes by clicking on typewriter. When you click on typewriter, you can click on the screen and you can say directions or write anything that you would like to write. This is editable, so you can change the size of the text box. You can increase or decrease the font. You can change the color. And you can also position it anywhere on the screen that you would like. So as I continue to make these bigger, I may reposition that. When I like where that text box is sitting, I simply click this check mark, and now it's part of my PDF that my students will see. Another great tool is the freehand tool. So you can choose the freehand tool, choose your line color, you can change the thickness, and anywhere that you put your cursor, you can draw a line or a shape. And you can also erase if you don't like what you just drew. So I'm going to try again. When I'm done with that tool, I want to click back on there and make sure it is not highlighted. I also can add shapes such as squares and circles. I can draw a circle on my around words by choosing it to have a transparent background. I can also fill in the background and mask parts of the text if needed. When I'm done using that, again, I'll just click on that option and I will turn that off. Some other great features that you have would be a screen mask if you are presenting this in class and you wanted to focus on a certain area, or maybe you wanted to highlight certain things, then you can change the color of the background, whether it is more transparent or less transparent, and you can also change the size of this screen mask. When you're done with the screen mask, you simply click it off. So these are some of the things that you can do for your students to edit this PDF. Now, if you want your students to see all of these annotations, before you share it on Google Classroom, you'll want to make sure that you click this down arrow and click on Share Annotations with Students. Now, whatever you've put onto this PDF will show for your students. I'm ready to go ahead and share this with my students as an assignment on Google Classroom. So I'm going to click this button here and choose the class that I'd like to post in and choose what I would like to do. In this window that pops up, it is an assignment tab just like you would see on Google Classroom. So I'm going to title this and I'm going to say whatever the instructions are for the students. I can go ahead and assign my point values. I can add due dates the same as I would in any of the normal assignments that I create using Google Classroom. I'm going to click Assign. And now my students have access to that assignment with the attached PDF. Now that the PDF has been assigned in Google Classroom, students can access the PDF by clicking on the attachment in Google Classroom. You'll see that it opens up in the same tab that Google Classroom was in. Students also have the same tools that are available on the teacher side, and everything works the same way. Students are able to edit this document and add their highlights. When they add highlights, then when they submit their work to Google Classroom, the teacher will see those highlights. Students can also create their own vocabulary list the same way a teacher can by choosing vocabulary, and it will create a list of vocabulary words for them based on those highlights. The document that's created is fully editable, and students can change anything on this document. They will also need to make sure that they retitle it. Students can also access any of the voice notes, so they can hear any audio note that a teacher has left for them. Do you have any wearable devices that are powered by batteries? What are those devices? So they can scroll through and see anything that was left by the teacher as an audio note or a side note, any of the text, and any of the drawings. Students will be able to share their drawings and anything that they add to the PDF with the teacher. Students, just like teachers, can also use push pins, which push pins are great little reminders or notes that they would like to add. When they're done, they click the OK check mark, and you'll see a little push pin that they can refer to later. When students are done marking up the text and adding what they would like, and they'd like to turn in their work, because this tab is the same tab that Google Classroom is in, they don't need to open up anything else and go back to Google Classroom. Instead, they just click this button right here that says Hand In. When they hand that in, you'll see that the tab now takes them back to Google Classroom on the assignment that they were working on, and they can just simply click Turn In. Once students have engaged with the PDF text and submitted to Google Classroom, you'll be able to access their work on the Google Classroom side in the Grading tab. And when you click on a student's work, you'll see that it opens up in the Google Classroom grading window. However, you might want to open this up in another window, and you'll be able to do that. You can also see that my text tools have been embedded within this window. I can go ahead and see everything that my student did, and I can see anything that I also put on as well. So this was on the original document, and I can still access that. I can see that these were the highlights added by the student, and I can also see that these are the drawings added by the student. So I can, again, also view it by popping this out into another window. And I will have to choose to open it with the Read and Write for Google Chrome, because anything that's done in Texthelp has to be viewed within Texthelp. So if I want to see the student's work, I have to make sure that I'm using the Texthelp PDF Reader to view that work. Otherwise, I'll just see a blank document. If you want to add anything back to the student's work, and if you would like to circle certain things, then you can do that and you can return the work to them. I hope you enjoy all of the great tools that the Texthelp PDF Reader has available to you.